Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be explaining how yes, you sat in that seat right there with all your doubts. I'm going to show you that you can become a pilot, and you can become an airline pilot much more simply than you would have thought, and that it is possible and feasible. So quickly about myself, I've been an airline pilot now for the past 2 years, and I've come from a background where I wasn't a pilot myself. No one in my family was a pilot, and it was just a childhood dream that I never thought would be achievable. And I'm going to show you today that it is achievable, and not only is it achievable, but that you can do it. And if you really set yourself to it and motivate yourself towards it, you can definitely be in the same position that I am, where you're traveling the world and you're enjoying every day at work and you're living your childhood dreams. So first and foremost, do you have to have a family in aviation to be a pilot? I actually don't have anybody in my family that's a pilot. Nobody in previous generations has been a pilot. Nobody I know, even in my whole community, nobody I knew was a pilot. And for me, it was like, well, it's unheard of that not only someone from a Muslim, Pakistani background, but just generally, anyone in my area, for them to say you're a pilot, you'd be thinking you're a liar. But I thought about it, and I thought, well, that's something I want to do, and so I decided to pursue it. Now, you do not need a family in aviation. You do not need a background in aviation in order to be a pilot. Many people have the misconception that, I have to study aeronautical engineering first, and I have to do all of these extracurricular things, and I have to get physics and maths locked in, and I basically have to be a jack of all trades, and I have to be the smartest in my classes and everything. I'm going to break that down for you from where I've come from, because I was not the smartest cookie in my classes. And in fact, when I joined school in year 7, which is basically the start of high school, I was one of the bottom students in my whole year group. And for me, when I received that news, I was like, this is impossible then. So there we go. I'm not going to be a pilot, and I'm going to be very, let's say, normal in terms of my prospective future. But this is where it changes, and it's very much a mindset thing. If you can change in your mind that you can do these things and that you can achieve this goal that you've set out for yourself, if you convince yourself of that, you will 1,000,000% be able to achieve it. Because at that stage, I joined a boxing club, and that boxing club taught me so many fundamental aspects of life, and that hard work and perseverance and determination will get you through any challenge in life. And so for me, I applied that to my education. So I went into school in year 8 after being bottom of the year group in year 7, and I said to myself, I'm going to work my absolute butt off to become better in every subject that I can possibly be better in. It took me a very long time to even become average in my school. So I became pretty average within my school. If you are in that position where you're even bottom or you're average, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to achieve something like this. For me, I was able to do it, and I was bottom. It's all about how you perceive these challenges. If you take them with a positive state of mind, you'll be able to achieve many, many things, and this is one of them. So coming from an aviation background is not a requirement. Coming from a smart, high IQ background is also not a requirement. Now, the CAA have outlined a number of pilot competencies that you might be interested in as to what you would perceive as a good pilot. Those competencies include things like workload management. So whether you're good in a high workload environment, i.e. if loads of things are coming your way, are you able to prioritize those things, etc. Another important aspect is communication. Are you a very good communicator? Can you talk to people or communicate with your colleagues in an effective way? And there's a number of other things that I will put on the screen so that you guys can have a quick look at. And you can also research in your own time what those competencies are, because those are essentially the fundamentals of being a pilot. So you don't necessarily require all of them. In those areas that you might not be as strong in, you can certainly work on those areas in other aspects of your life. For example, if it's something like leadership and teamwork, sign up to any kind of group organization that they might have at school or in your university, or even outside of university, maybe a tennis club or something which involves leadership and teamwork. So all of these aspects can be worked upon. What subjects would you recommend studying? Subject wise, if you are considering being a pilot and you're not sure what subject should I do, what should I get into in school, maths and physics will 100% help you with flying. I've met a lot of pilots that haven't had a mathematical or physics background, and they have struggled in the theory exams and the theory aspect of the airline transport pilot license. So I would 100% recommend doing some kind of mathematics. I did maths, physics and English at my A-levels, which is higher education in the UK. I didn't go to university. I have explained my pathway in a previous video. I didn't go to university. I went straight into flight school from my A-levels. But I did maths, physics and English. Now, I was awful at physics, and I just about passed it, to be honest. But I probably focused more of my attention into English and maths. I won't lie to you, it did help me in the theory exams. However, I met people on my course that did maths GCSE and then they kind of left it after that. And they did absolutely fine in the theory as well. So it's all about how you approach learning, and if you're willing to continue to put in the hours and the dedication. That's the important aspect. So when you're choosing a subject, first of all, I would choose a mathematical subject in there, and I would put probably maths as one of the better ones. If you don't like maths, maybe physics would be better as well. But the other subjects, I would say choose subjects that you are very passionate in, because those subjects that you are passionate in, you will be more committed to working hard towards those. And that means that you will be picking up methods in which to learn. And that is more important, because when you're pursuing a career in aviation, the most important aspect is your passion towards it. So I would 100% recommend doing one mathematical subject at least, and the other subjects, if you can, just do subjects that you really enjoy, because I think you'll have more benefit from that. Don't necessarily take my advice as the be-all and end-all for your future, but if I was to give my own personal opinion, I would say that is probably the best plan of action. So another requirement is that you should be able to speak English to a relatively good standard. And if you can understand what I'm saying in this video, I'd say you're very much up there in terms of your English comprehension, just because the universal language of aviation is English. So wherever you go in the world, you'll be speaking to air traffic controllers that will speak English to you. So you need to be able to understand that. It doesn't mean that you're kind of disqualified. You will still be able to learn English. And I can guarantee that it's not going to be a massive challenge. If you start now and you start committing to learning English and you take things one step at a time, you will definitely be able to get there. I've spoken a lot about education and the studying side of things. Now, what if you're already in a good position? Can I still be a pilot? I mean, I've got good grades, I've got all of these things. Another big misconception is that you have to be young to be a pilot. And it's actually quite the contrary. You don't have to be young, old. You can be whatever age you really want to be. The maximum age is 65 years old. And in the UK, I've seen people who are 50 years old that have started, and they've been able to get jobs and being able to pursue at least like a 5-year career in the aviation sector. So you absolutely do not need to be a young person to be a pilot. On the flip side, you do have to be 18 years old to be a pilot. But in your youth, leading up to the age of 18, it's like the optimal time to build yourself and build those pilot competencies that I mentioned earlier. So no matter what age you are, please don't let that deter you from becoming a pilot, because it's 1,000,000% within your grasp. No matter what age you are and no matter what background you've come from, you can definitely pursue it as long as you've got the right passion towards it. There are some aspects that might limit you, and I will be completely truthful. One might be the cost, because the cost of being a pilot can be very expensive. So if you are not willing to fork out about 100 grand into the training fees, I would say it can be very tight in terms of how you might be able to pursue the career. I couldn't. Now, all of these things I'm listing off to you, those are things that I had to overcome. And like I said, You are in this position and you're listening to this video for a reason. I've been in a position where I've been not able to afford it. I've not been the smartest person in the class. I've not had a career, had a family of aviators, and I'm in this position now where I can give you guys the hindsight. I didn't think I could afford this course, but like I said before, if you have the passion towards it, you will definitely be able to find a way. And if you are passionate enough, you will find a way to fund the course. You will find a way to get over that hurdle of 100 grand. And I 100% guarantee you will be able to make that money back in a much faster time than you'll probably realize. So the costs can be a limiting factor because it is all up front. But if you can find a way, then I would 100% try my best to find a way. There are certain banks that offer loans for pilots. So that aspect of things, you could definitely be able to try and find one of those banks. And nowadays, there are also airlines opening for fully sponsored programs. So if you can apply for one of those, 100% I would recommend applying for one of those. Now, I offer one-to-one coaching. It's in the link in the description if you are interested, and I'll do my best to kind of form a pathway for yourselves and try and cater towards any of your needs that you might have. But yeah, it's in the description. I'm not going to enforce it on anybody. It's just there in case you need it. And that's what I want to hopefully offer to people if they really do want a personalized approach at their training. Also, just to add, I've currently got a promotion on the one-to-one offer. So it's 50% off at the moment. So if you are interested, please press the link in the description. That might not last much longer. During the winter, I tend to have a bit more time on my hands, so I'm able to offer more coaching. But yeah, in the summer, it's much more limited. So height-wise, in the UK anyway, there's no strict limit, but it's probably better to be between 5'2" to 6'6", because if you're any bigger than 6'6", it can be quite trialing getting into the small cockpit of a Airbus or a Boeing. If you're smaller than that, then you might not be able to reach some of the controls or some of the buttons, which you may need to be able to reach. So there is a kind of like line drawn about 5 foot and under. You're probably a bit on the harder side to get a job, but doesn't necessarily mean it's impossible. If you are worried about that, go to an AME. They're called AMEs, and they are doctors. They're specifically for pilots and for the aviation sector. So go to an AME and they'll be able to assess whether or not you are physically able to pursue the career. Now that includes your eyesight, your weight, any of these kind of physical concerns. They'll be able to consult you, because I'm not an AME and I can't tell you if something physical might affect you, but mentally I can 1,000,000% guarantee that you can do it. You can become a pilot, and it's not impossible, and you are definitely able to do it. And if you start today, if you put that in your mind that I'm going to be doing this and it's going to be my career, then I can 100% guarantee if you have the right approach to it, you will 1,000,000% be able to be a pilot, because I've done it. And I can tell you from the countless times I've doubted myself to be in the position now, I'll tell you from all of that experience that all those doubts are not worth anything when you get to the point where you finally achieved it. At that point, it's better than any other feeling that you can ever have in the world. And I promise you that you can do it from a mental aspect. But like I said, and as I continue with the physical aspects, I did mention that eyesight might be an issue. Nowadays in the UK, everybody has this conception that you have to have 20/20 vision. You don't actually have to have 20/20 vision. You can have less than 20/20 vision, but you need corrective glasses to kind of sustain your vision. But generally, most glasses are so advanced that they allow for this. To add to those physical limitations that I might have mentioned, most airlines and most aircraft cater for so many people, so many different people. And then the structure of the courses, structure of the pilot training has been made in such a way that it's almost foolproof. There's so much research that goes into flying and aviation. But like I said, you can do this, and you can definitely become a pilot. Any doubts you have in your head are just self-inflicted. That means you are putting these limitations on yourself. I've come from a position where I basically had no chance to a position where I'm now an airline pilot. So if you are thinking about doing it, please don't waste any time. Start your journey now. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope that I've helped some of you guys. If you could do me a massive favor and just leave a like and subscribe. And then if you have any other questions, just let me know in the comments, and then I can try and answer them. I try to respond to as many comments as I can, and maybe I can make a video on certain questions as well. So please feel free to leave a message and let me know. But yeah, for now, thank you so much for listening to me, and I'll hopefully see you soon. Thanks.